Hello, everyone, and welcome to AARP Wyoming's Video Voter Guide Series for 2024. I'm Tom Laycock with AARP Wyoming, and today we're joined by John Romero-Martinez, who's running for the Wyoming legislature in House District 44, located in Laramie County. AARP has a proud 40-year history of nonpartisan voter engagement and does not endorse or oppose candidates. Nor does AARP make contributions to political campaigns or candidates at any level. Instead, we ask questions so our members understand where the candidates stand on important issues and can make their own decisions on Election Day. Today, we'll give Mr. Romero-Martinez 3 questions, allowing for a 1-minute and 30-second response to each. Then we'll give him 2 minutes to make his final pitch to the voters of House District 44. So, Mr. Romero-Martinez, our first question is this. Over the last 2 years, the Wyoming legislature has made providing property tax relief for its citizens a priority. In your view, what is the most effective way to provide relief while balancing revenue needs for our schools, counties, and other entities that rely on property tax to maintain sustainable funding?
Well, Mr. Laycock, thank you, and thank AARP for providing this question and answer for candidates for House District 44 and for all the districts. And in regards to your question about providing tax relief and what needs to be done to have balance in regards to revenue, my answer to that is not much different from what true leadership has been doing in the first place, which is create income generators as a way to balance the relief. I don't think that the 67th class of the legislature, the class right before us, and the one that succeeded me was on the wrong track. I think they had a workable concept. When I go and I talk and I listen to my constituents, something that came up more than once would be more of an amendment to the existing movement that passed both chambers but just got thrown back for a veto. My suggestion is, when we reapproach this conversation regarding tax relief, is that we consider people where they're at. And some people find it hard to make a one payment. There's a set up in a 2-payment situation. So if they could maybe have, instead of just 2 times to pay the bill, if they could set it up where they could have 3 opportunities throughout the year, that way it's not such an impact with the way tax prices are going right now. But the balance to that would be create income generators. And I think there are things with the all the above energy policy that we've already been working on for decades. It's nothing that just got fixed in 2 years. And with that said, if we could focus on all those different industries, we could probably create some balance.
Thank you. Our second question for today. Wyoming's population of those aged 60 and over grew by 47% from 2010 to 2020, while the state's entire population grew just 2%. We know 64% of all nursing home beds in Wyoming are paid for right now by the state Medicaid program. What do you see as the greatest barrier to helping our older adults age in their homes and communities? And what solutions would you propose?
The biggest problem facing this population, the older population, and you talk about there's been a 47% increase, and 64% of that is really leaning on state Medicaid dollars. I think the biggest challenge is, do families take care of families? I come from a population where a huge number of the Latino population takes care of their parents. And I think we need to do more to encourage those, create incentive programs for that type of activity, because we're seeing isolation at such a rapid level. Not only is it increasing our costs to our families, but it's also increasing the costs to our government, and we should do what we can to help that economically, reduce the costs on our state, and to create more unity where there's just too much isolationism, and do what we can to increase the need for the better pay rate for CNAs and registered nurses. I think part of the solution to that is going to be the expansion of Medicaid. This is something that the state has said that they want. the majority. We haven't said that in both chambers. We've lost by 1 vote, and we continue to table this. If we keep tabling this, the population in House District 44 is just not going to get the care that they need, the elders or everybody in between, although we need to do more to help the elders. One thing that we need to do is we also need to create a human life equality. We need to put a ban on assisted suicide. In my 2-year, we proposed that legislation. We just need to continue on that same track.
Thank you. Our third and final question today. Emergency medical services are not considered an essential service in Wyoming. And in some areas, ambulance services do not have a sustainable funding source. Over the last 10 years, Wyoming has seen 16 EMS service providers in the state fold or consolidate with another service. What solutions would you offer for ensuring access to ambulance services?
Well, first of all, there has been many efforts to create a solution to that, and I have no really option but to name drop here, but our former Speaker of the House had a great bill for that. I think for emergency services should be considered required, and emergency services. And I think continuing to tell people we can't increase spending, that's true. We do need to stop spending. But the money that would come from the Medical Treatment Opportunities Act would be $5 billion. And I do want to see options for a private option, public-private option. But unless you could come up with $5 billion a year for that plan, your ideas are just ideas. And we need to make these ideas stick. This population matters. Young children need to work out a family plan with their parents so that where they're not just left alone and then they live in another state or in another house. Bring families together, I think, is the best, most cost-effective way. It's been shown that in many studies. I think we need to get all the stakeholders together, but I don't think it's something that we just need to do now. The stakeholders are at the Capitol all the time. You talk to the Diocese of Cheyenne, you talk to the head of the various Baptist churches and Pentecostal churches. They all want to see a solution here. And most of them want to see the Medical Treatment Opportunities Act or the expansion of Medicaid in the state of Wyoming. We're only at 40 states that already almost have that. So with that said, we're really just robbing this boom-bust cycle economy from dollars that we've already earned and that we deserve. Soon we're just going to have 100% anyway, so the sooner the better. Let's not delay. Thank you for the question.
Well, thank you, Mr. Romero-Martinez, for answering our questions today. So let's close by giving you 2 minutes to explain why you believe you're the best person to represent House District 44.
My message to the constituents of House District 44 and the Republican community, the reason I'm the best choice to represent this district is because when I was elected in 2020, I fulfilled my promises. My promises that were made were promises kept. We did all we could do within a 2-year period, more than any other legislature, to defend the right to life for the preborn, with a solid number of 8 bills that really were strongly considered and became law. One that I suggested go through the prioritization process and make the defense of both the child and the mother one, with a study interim topic that eventually was carried by Representative Rodriguez-Williams in its 2 subsequent forms. Simply put, we defended the unborn. We need to continue that. Our fight is now in our hands. Now that Roe v. Wade was properly decided on, the decision lies in the hands of the state. And the state has already decided. And the governor has already signed that bill. As we await for a Supreme Court challenge, I do believe life will be the winner for both the child and the mother. I also proposed legislation for the second time in Wyoming history that's also a party platform for religious freedom. This is a time when both the left and the right need to come together and figure out the right wording for religious freedom. It was Newt Gingrich with President Clinton that made sure that there was a National Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Just last year in House Bill 178, a good legislator from the North proposed yet another version, and it was solid. We need to make sure that that goes through. In regards to taxes and high inflation, we need to figure out a solution by working together in both chambers, but we need to keep our party platform united and stop listening to the division within our party. And that's where I stand on all of the above in general. So I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Romero-Martinez, for your time. And thank you to those of our viewers for joining us for this video voters guide. We encourage you to keep checking Cowboy State Daily and AARP Wyoming's Facebook page for more voter guides in the days to come.